the most dramatic moments on paternity court.
You got your moment to be able to say what you need to say.
You slept with her, right?
Yes.
Did you use protection?
No.
Well, you know her now.
Yes.
Okay. Are you allowed to get up later and talk about their character?
Right. Some flings last longer than our expectations. However, the irony is that even when they end, their ghosts come back to haunt us, and that is exactly what happened to Miss Luce. Her ex not only failed to step up, but ducked out childcare expenses worth $2,000.
Miss Luce, you are suing the defendant for $2,716.86 of back childcare expenses for your son, Marley. Mr. Zuniga, you say you don't owe her a dime. Who his real daddy is?
Yes, Your Honor.
The plaintiff stated that though the baby daddy was present for the baby for the first 4 months, suddenly disappeared from their lives, which left the mommy and baby stranded. And this made the judge ask Mr. Zuniga the reason for such abandonment.
I didn't feel like I abandoned him. At first, I never really thought the kid was mine. From day one, she seemed easy. We had sex the first day, substantial amount, and I spent every dime on him. I didn't spend one dime on myself.
Miss Luce, is that true? Has he given any money?
He might have put money into a crib. He might have put money into the little things he needed then, but he didn't do anything else after that.
The judge read all the expenses listed as proof and asked Mr. Zuniga about his doubts towards the plaintiff, and you won't believe the answer we got. FYI, his testimony was so dumb that even the judge had to correct him.
First of all, I never really knew her.
You slept with her, right?
Yes.
Did you use protection?
No.
Well, you know her now.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I found out that she never really stayed in relationships long, and that she liked to jump from guy to guy.
Miss Luce, were you sleeping with other men when you were sleeping with Mr. Zuniga?
No, not one. I did sleep with a few men after him.
Then the judge asked the defendant about Mr. Zuniga's other kids, and it turns out that he was somewhat sterile because the guy never had children in his previous relationships due to some sports injuries. But the plaintiff cut him off, quickly defending herself against the doubts.
I was committed when we first started hanging out. I stayed at home with my godbrother, taking care of his kids until he got off work.
While I was at work, I asked her what she used to do, and she used to tell me she was going to her brother figure house and getting her moped fixed.
Oh, so you believe she was going over to this other gentleman's house?
She was cheating on me the whole time with her husband.
When asked about the allegations, the plaintiff admitted sleeping with a married man, but said there wasn't anything between her and their godbrother, and she only helped with raising his kids.
I gave him no reason to feel as if I was cheating on him.
What about right after you left me? How you got with that one guy from the park? And then right after that, you started getting with the bouncer.
No, I was only with two different people at separate times after I slept with him.
One-sided allegations were a dead end, so the judge asked the plaintiff about her witness, and to everyone's shock, she brought the defendant's mother to solidify her testimony. She claimed that her son resembled the kid and alleged the father cut her off to explain his mom's obsession with babies.
Because my son goes through women like toilet paper. I did not want to speak to her. But Your Honor, if you look at those pictures, their eyes look so much alike, and
this kid looks nothing like
yes, because my son is 50% Mexican. His dad was 100%.
The judge asked the plaintiff about pregnancy, and she said that he was just present at the birth. Then the defendant said that he drove 3 hours to the hospital and signed the birth certificate, but later they lost it. So Mr. Zuniga's excitement about the birth led all of them into an argument.
And you feel very emotional because
he went through it.
The more I see him grow up, the less he looked like me.
Because he doesn't know you.
And he doesn't have to look like you. You don't look like me the more you grew up, but I knew you came from me.
Yeah, but I came straight from you. There's no doubt in that.
However, the baby daddy still couldn't shake off his doubts, so the judge decided to reveal the outcome of the lie detector test about her sexual relationship with that married man during the conception dates, which the plaintiff had denied, and the judge read the results.
we're asked if you ever had sexual relations with any other man while dating Pedro, which is Mr. Zuniga. You said no. The lie detector determined deception indicated.
Till this time, nobody believed that she lied, but she did it. So after the lie detector results, the judge moved the case forward and permitted them a paternity test to end this game. She asked their final thoughts before the results, but instead of hoping, they just argued.
You were there from the start.
Yeah,
You started out being a good dad, and then you vanished. You abandoned your own kid.
Miss Vertigan, Mom, why are you so upset?
I went through this. I was her, and I don't want to say
You know, you should be on my side.
I
My
do.
mother.
I love
You don't
you.
even know her. I know the facts.
This is a baby, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
well,
He didn't ask to be here.
He knows
The case seemed very simple from its beginning with the baby denial, but the lies of the plaintiff and the double-faced behavior of the defendant made things complicated, so the judge was ready to read the results.
Mr. Zuniga, you are his father.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Mr. Zuniga, I'm going to award her half of that money. Would you like to see him? Yes?
A young, beautiful, but not entirely innocent girl brought the lawsuit to persuade Mr. McKinley, the defendant, that he was the father of her son. She also claimed that his reluctance to admit paternity was due to his petty wife. On the other hand, the supposed father asserted that Miss Thompson shouldn't bother his married life anymore.
You say his wife is petty, and she is the cause of his paternity denial. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you say Miss Thompson needs to leave you and your wife of 17 years alone and find her baby's father. Is that
Yes, Your
correct?
Honor.
Plaintiff said that they connected on Facebook and he was always following up on her activities on social media and called him a thirsty stalker and said that she ended up going out with him by choice.
I chose him to go out with, obviously because he was always giving me nice notes because I wouldn't be here today.
Did you know he was married?
He told me that he was separated.
She
which
lied.
was
She
true.
know, Your Honor.
They
And I-
weren't together.
She
She stayed in
lied.
a
Okay, I went on his Facebook. She's always posting new pictures.
mine.
After the loud arguments by both women, the judge asked Mr. McKinley to tell his side of the story. He said that she wanted to see the studio he worked in, and he denied her, but she kept pinning him about it. This accusation led to more arguments and laughter.
So out of the blue, she just sends you a message and says, when are you gonna take me to the studio?
Yeah, to the
and you
studio.
don't know who this girl is.
Nah, I just knew she was one of my friends on Facebook.
He worked in,
Wait,
he
Your
worked in the
Honor.
donation thing before
Your
he
Honor,
got
hello.
fired.
Your
Well, why did you sleep with him if he was this broke? Nevertheless, when the defendant's wife was questioned by the judge about the relationship, she revealed that when she discovered them in a home, the plaintiff was lying under the covers. Miss Thompson, though, clarified the circumstance.
And I had somewhere to go, but if he went, I was with him, so I went with him. When we went to New Orleans, he introduced me to his family, his sister, his cousins. I went swimming. I'm talking about it's like I'm his girlfriend, you know?
Plaintiff continued her statement, saying that he took her to the hospital, and she shared that there could be another possible father who got him upset. Miss Thompson carried on explaining how much he still cared for her after the pregnancy news.
She's been saying that I'm childish. Yeah, I'm upset. That's my baby right there. I love my child. I take care of him. I have been going through hell because all I want him to do is be a father. I have let them see my child. They have took pictures with my child.
Miss Thompson confirmed that the defendant was the father of the baby because of many resembling features and showed proof of stacked toes to the judge. Further, she boldly confronted him to deny that proof.
About my son, I told him about it. Oh yeah, that's me. So if that ain't your baby, take your shoe off. Let me see your toes.
You want to see my
Yeah,
toes?
let me see. Take them off. You got on? Did you put on socks today?
So you got a text, and it was this picture, and the caption was
Saying Legend
Legend's
Real
real father.
Yes,
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
I have nothing to hide. I did not say that.
Both parties here are very strong with their proof games. Now, the picture with the anonymous man sparked some fishy behavior from the plaintiff, and she defended herself by exposing the petty actions of his wife.
Oh, you're saying they made this? They created
right,
this?
They made it up because she made up a whole fake page.
This about her
Yes, it
with
is.
my husband.
It's about my
She
child.
calls me on my phone. She calls me and my husband. We let it go to voicemail.
Object.
She called us. I got voicemails. I got text messages.
After lots of arguments, accusations, and lies, the judge was tired of listening to anything else. Moreover, Miss Thompson was a strong woman, and today's outcome was very important for her to settle the baby's future. So she decided to read the results to calm the plaintiff and finish this war of foolishness.
Mr. McKinley, you are the father.
He's a handsome baby. He get compliments all the time, so.
He is beautiful. In the spirit of that beauty and that innocence.
A relationship under the pillars of infidelity and mistrust can't last long. This woman sought to save her relationship with Mr. White by establishing the paternity of her daughter, but the defendant insisted that she was constantly lying to him and that the consequences would force him to leave their relationship.
You say your relationship has suffered from instability and constant mistrust.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, now, Mr. Wright, you say that Ms. Kane has repeatedly lied to you, and you have every reason to doubt the paternity of one-year-old Ariana.
Plaintiff said when they first started talking, she was hanging out with her ex, and upon clarification said she wasn't sleeping with the ex. But Mr. White cut her off, saying the real story was different.
So her ex is your friend?
Yeah.
You did?
Yes, I did. I said that I thought he was cute and if we could move on to maybe something more.
So you started dating?
Yes.
And at some point during this time, you got pregnant?
Yes.
Well, before that, I mean, we started dating, then her ex-boyfriend's always sleeping in her bed with her.
Are you sure nothing happened?
100%.
That night or any other night?
Yes.
The defendant recalled a day when the plaintiff went out with her ex, a friend, and her ex's buddy, and the club's doorman informed him that the plaintiff was there on a double date. Ms. Kane then clarified what had happened.
Mr. Wright, what's your ex doing all this time? Because you living in the house with her, right? And now, Ms. Kane, do you believe he was sleeping with his ex too?
Yes, I do.
Now the plaintiff said that Mr. White's ex confronted her through Facebook and told her that they still slept together. But the defendant argued that it happened after his breakup with Ms. Kane, and the judge praised their exciting foursome and asked about pregnancy reaction.
She went over to her baby daddy's house. She has 2 other kids, went over to his house. She finally calls me. I'm on my way now. Where were you? Well, I got blocked in the driveway because there was a gas leak. I called the gas company.
Oh.
They never had no report of a gas leak on that street.
You went real Inspector Gadget, right?
Yeah. It's for it to go through dispatch.
So you find out she's lying about that?
Yeah.
He fully played his inspector game perfectly. The plaintiff went on to say that she repeatedly told him directly in his face during a custody dispute that he wasn't the baby's father.
Oh, I'll be back in an hour. 6 hours later, she's not returning my phone calls.
Miss Kane, why are you doing that? Why can't you return his phone call?
Why can't he return my phone calls when I call him? It takes him 8 hours to return my phone calls.
She calls me, I answer the phone.
No, you do not. My texts or my phone calls.
She leaves.
So he is a control freak and she avenges him. Classic battle. The plaintiff then explained that any comments she made regarding the baby's paternity were made out of rage. However, the accused was eager and eventually revealed more messy behaviors by Miss Kane.
Her friend told me she knew what was going on the way over there. I had a threesome with you guys, so she was going to have one with us. According to her friend, they had a threesome.
No.
And she's lying to me about that.
What my friends told me is that...
Oh my goodness!
The judge was done with the dirt of their mess and their complaints. She further asked him about his role at the birth, and he replied that he supported the baby since birth, but didn't sign the birth certificate and shared his concerns.
I didn't sign the birth certificate because I told her before she even went into labor, I told her, I'm not signing the birth certificate.
Yep. No father's name recorded.
He's the one that thinks that I'm going to keep her and throw it up in her face saying that he was a bad dad. He didn't want nothing to do with her.
Their arguments were useless now, and the judge asked them to stop making everyone a fool. The defendant then admitted in court that he was confused about his likeness to the kid when she questioned him about it.
I think she looks like me. I think she looks like my niece. You know, I think she looks like my family. But then a week later, say how much those girls look like their dad.
So you're reading in between the lines,
right?
And you're not in the sentence.
Right.
These 2 idiots looking desperately for paternity had their actions messed up their relationship and the baby's life. In this dirtiness, the judge moved on to reveal the results and hoped something could save their future.
You are Ariana's father. I see the tears and I'm glad you're relieved. You know now.
Childhood friendship gets lost when you overstep your boundaries and do something inappropriate, like in this case, where the plaintiff claimed that her friend Mr. Rogers denied the paternity of her son, and the defendant had been incarcerated for 2 months for failing to pay child support.
Ms. Walters, you claim the defendant was a childhood family friend who got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 3-year-old son, Rylan.
Yes, Your Honor.
More than $2,500 in payments for a child who is not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plaintiff said that they had been dating for a long time. She admitted sleeping with someone else, but during the conception period, she only slept with the defendant, and she added that his mom didn't approve of their relationship. Then Mr. Rogers cut her off, explaining his side of the story.
So you all kept this a secret?
Yes, ma'am.
And you all were having unprotected sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you really felt?
Yes, ma'am. That is honestly what I believe.
Your Honor.
Because she was in a relationship with this other guy, so why would it automatically be mine? You know what I'm saying?
But were you sleeping with her during the window of conception?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge asked about pregnancy, and the plaintiff said that she had been doing everything on her own. She added that the defendant came to the hospital but left before the baby's birth. Then, Mr. Rogers defended his action.
Your Honor, in my head, okay, me and this girl have been through everything together, known each other since we was in diapers.
So the truth is you all grew up like brother and sisters,
Yes,
cousins, because I mean...
That was my home away from home.
And so, Ms. Sanders, I can see this is really upsetting you.
And I apologize for that.
The judge asked the defendant's mother to share her feelings, and she said that Miss Walters was like her daughter. They were like a family, but were left shocked about their relationship. Then she added how she found out about the plaintiff's cheating.
Later on, I did, because I found a bunch of condoms in her stuff when I went through it.
But the bottom line is when you found them, you said to yourself, she must be sexually active now.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you weren't aware of that before. Did you ask her about it once you found those condoms?
I did not. I got a phone call and said, Lindsay's pregnant and she's saying Roy's the father. And I turned around and I said, Roy, did you know that? He said, that is not my baby mama.
Did you know at that time they had been sleeping together?
No, that was when I found out.
After the mother's statement, the defendant quickly said that he didn't sign the birth certificate, but the court sent him a DNA test date, which he missed because he was in a different state, and the court automatically assumed him a father. He further shared how he got arrested for it.
To the beach for my sister's birthday. Well, my buddy happened to be speeding. Cop pulls us over, gave my buddy a breathalyzer, he failed it. So he locks him up in the car. So the cop puts him in the car, walks back up to me, and I heard him call over his radio. Roy Rogers has a warrant out of Monroe County for child neglect.
So the judge brought the plaintiff's witness, who was her best friend, and also the defendant's sister. She said they grew up together and shared every secret and gave her testimony about the issue.
I was aware of her sleeping with the other guy. She also stated the next morning that she did sleep with him, that she did sleep with the other guy. Then 6 weeks later, I'm staying at her house. She comes home, she breaks down on the floor crying because she finds out she's pregnant.
At the time, do you know she's sleeping with your brother?
I did. At the time, she said that she had 2 different potential fathers. The other guy was never an option.
Now the judge concluded that the plaintiff knew there were 2 possible fathers, and the witness agreed to it. Moreover, the defendant's sister said she told everyone about the other possibility. The judge turned to Miss Walter to explain the situation.
That I slept with this other man, it was because out of anger. At the time that I found out I was pregnant and I told him, his ex-girlfriend was about to have his baby. And at the time,
Yes, Your Honor, I have a 4-year-old
he was young
son
and
also.
he didn't want to be responsible.
So were you denying that you were the father because you didn't want any more responsibility, or did you truly feel like it's impossible for you to be the father?
I honestly believed it was not mine, Your Honor.
The judge gave all of them a chance to share their doubts, and they gave their reasons regarding the denial of the baby. Later asked the witness about any other possibility, and she recalled all the events.
But during that time period, I do know that she slept with 2 people. Okay, well, let me just pin it on Roy because we're lifelong friends, and he's always gonna be there regardless. On my side, it put me in a horrible situation because Lindsay's my best friend and this is my brother.
Everyone was so upset with the situation they were in. The loving family friends were now separated and broken because of a baby. The judge called for the results so they could settle their issue back to normal.
Mr. Rogers, you are his father.
I'm sorry.
What do you feel?
Your Honor, I grew up without a father. And now that I know him as father, I can step up and actually be his father.
How do you feel, Ms. Walter?
I'm relieved. I've waited for this for so long. My son deserves to have his father there.
How do you feel, Mom?
I feel guilty now.
How about you? It's your nephew.
I'm so happy.
A woman brought the case of her daughter's future and wanted to prove paternity to the defendant so that he could play his part in her baby's life, while Mr. Rutledge and his sister claimed that multiple men could be the potential father. The only way to fix their issues is a DNA test.
You state you're here to prove the defendant, Mr. Rutledge, is her biological father because she needs 2 parents. Ms. Rutledge is also involved in this case, and we'll hear more from her.
The plaintiff said that before her relationship with Mr. Rutledge, she was messing around, but during her conception period, she was at his mom's house and only slept with him. Then the judge asked the defendant about her statements.
Me and Ms. Brown was never in a relationship. It was only sexual relationship. After they broke up, they split up, whatever. She got with my other cousin. The product from him got with my brother. Now, let me tell you this. When she got with my brother, she ran the same story on my brother and told my brother that she was pregnant by him. She tells my brother that, oh, I need you to give me money for a morning after pill.
Oh, she sure is a shady lady off the leash. Next, the plaintiff denied his statements about the pill and questioned him that if she was such a bad person, then why did he sleep with her? She further asserted that he was in a relationship with her.
You know, the drama started and he like, oh, you're not my girlfriend. And that's when I found out. From my knowledge, I'm 22 years old. He's about to be 31 in September. I didn't know. He could have made that quite clear, you know, that we weren't in a relationship. I didn't know. I only knew what I was being led to believe. If someone's coming over your house every day, sleeping with you, or, you know, coming over, calling you, texting you, and leading you to believe you're their girlfriend, of course you're gonna think that I'm a woman. Why would I not?
Oh, how are you gonna get away with that one? Judge again asked the defendant about his relationship with Miss Brown, and he denied it and called her a temporary amusement. Then the plaintiff got angry and cleared her value there.
He said that that's all I'm good for, but I must have been good for a lot because he used to ride his 9-year-old daughter Peking Gray bike to my house all the time with his 30-year-old self.
When you say I know what I used to be, what do you mean?
Yes, back when I was like, you know, younger, I did, you know, used to be wild. I mean, like partying, drinking.
The judge asked the plaintiff about sharing the pregnancy news, and she said that she shared it with Mr. Rutledge and his sister, and he visited her house immediately and assured her to help her with the baby. Then the defendant added his testimony to this.
At that point, what real proof did you have to be doubtful?
I used to pick Jasmine up, Miss Brown, from dude's house. She be around me texting dudes. This is my friend, this is my homeboy, we just cool, this and that. And first of all, it was never about the baby. It was all about she wanted to be with me.
Okay, so now he is being overdramatic for nothing. He has been accusing her a lot but can't stand against the statements of the plaintiff. Then the judge asked Miss Brown about birth, and she shared the troubling story.
Did he show up to the hospital?
No, his sister, Mrs. Rutledge, was there when I had the baby. She was there like every day while I was in hospital. She was there. She sent her mother pictures, and I guess she sent Mr. Rutledge pictures, and he called, and he told her that he hopes my baby die, and that he don't want my baby.
How can you be so ruthless about an innocent kid? Then, the defendant denied the comments about the baby and said he couldn't say anything like that to any kid, and further shared what the plaintiff did to his other kids.
She came to my mom's house, said she was gonna leave her daughter on the doorstep of my mom. I said, don't do that because I'm not there, no one's there.
He telling me, oh, she don't look nothing like me, that's not my daughter. And yes, I was enraged, I was very upset. If somebody tell you they hope your child die and stuff, you're gonna...
The next judge asked the plaintiff's witness to share her thoughts on the situation, and as she started calling out both parties for their wrongs, everyone started arguing. She continued telling about the efforts she did to solve paternity.
And it was because she had left her children at my mom's house with me and my mother. Gave Mr. Rutledge an opportunity to take a DNA test in our hometown. And she said, well, I don't know if he's gonna go take it. And he never showed up to take the test.
All the drama and lies had created too much trouble for these people, and now an innocent baby was going to bear the outcome of their choices. The judge needed no more testimony and called for results.
Mr. Rutledge, that you are her father.
What? Now what? What y'all gotta say now? What do y'all gotta say now? Exactly.
I just want to know for sure, Jazz. That's it. Man.
But now you know, but you missed 16 months though.
You right.
You been going through, how you gonna make that up though? I don't care how you feel about me, you go through my aunt if you don't wanna go through.
I can make that up.
I'm glad to hear you say
I can make that up.